The Vanishing Trail, Lost in the Haunted Woods. Chapter 1, A Dare in the Dark. It started as a simple dare. Jake, Lisa, and Ben, three college friends, had always been drawn to ghost stories. On a cold October night, they gathered around a flickering campfire in Blackwood Forest, a place known for its eerie legends. "No one has ever made it through the Vanishing Trail," Lisa whispered, her voice barely above the rustling leaves. "It's just a story," Jake scoffed. Ben, always the skeptic, rolled his eyes. "People get lost because they're careless, not because of ghosts." Lisa grinned. "Then let's prove it. Let's walk the trail and come back before midnight." The challenge was set. Armed with only flashlights and a single map, they stepped off the well-worn path and into the darkness. Chapter 2, The Trail That Disappears. The deeper they went, the quieter the forest became. There were no birds, no insects, just the crunch of leaves beneath their feet. Then, after walking for what felt like hours, Ben stopped. "Guys, where's the path?" Lisa turned in a slow circle. What had been a clear trail moments ago had vanished. The trees seemed closer, the branches twisting like bony fingers overhead. We should go back," she stammered. Jake shone his flashlight around. "We came from that direction, right?" None of them were sure anymore. That was when they heard it. A soft whispering. Not from one voice, but many, all around them. Chapter 3, The Shadows in the Trees. "Hello?" Jake called out. His voice echoed strangely, as if the trees were swallowing the sound. Lisa grabbed his arm. "Don't, we're not alone." The whispers grew louder, forming words they couldn't quite understand. The air turned frigid, their breath visible in the glow of their flashlights. Then, the beam of Ben's flashlight landed on something. A woman, standing between the trees, dressed in a tattered white gown. But something was wrong. Her face was just a blur, shifting and flickering like a dying signal. She lifted a skeletal hand and pointed. Behind them. Chapter 4, The Endless Loop. They ran. Branches scratched their skin, roots threatened to trip them, but they didn't stop. Their flashlights swung wildly, casting terrifying shadows as they searched for the trail. Then, suddenly, they were back at the same spot. The same twisted trees. The same silent woman in white. No, this isn't real," Lisa gasped, her chest heaving. Ben gripped his flashlight like a weapon. "We're trapped." Jake's voice shook. "It's the Vanishing Trail. We're stuck in the loop." The woman took a step forward. The whispers turned to laughter. Chapter 5, The Price of Escape. "There has to be a way out," Lisa cried. Then she noticed something, a marking on a tree. A deep carving in the bark, a symbol of an eye, with a slash through it. "I read about this," she gasped. "The legend says the only way to leave is to close your eyes and walk." "That's insane," Ben snapped. Jake looked at the woman, now closer, her faceless head tilting. "Do we have a choice?" With trembling hands, they shut their eyes. Step by step, they walked. The whispers screamed in their ears. Cold fingers brushed their skin, but they didn't stop. Then, silence. They opened their eyes. They were standing at the entrance of Blackwood Forest, the town's lights glowing in the distance. The Vanishing Trail was behind them. But when they turned back, there was no trail at all. Just solid forest. As if it had never existed. Epilogue, The Mark on the Tree. The next morning, Lisa, Jake, and Ben returned with a search party, but there was no vanishing trail, no woman in white, just an untouched forest. "It was real," Lisa whispered. Jake, still shaken, pointed to a tree at the forest's edge. The same symbol was carved into its bark. An eye, with a slash through it. And below it, 3 fresh names. Lisa, Jake, Ben. The forest had not forgotten them. And it never would. Moral of the story: some paths should never be walked. Some stories are warnings, not dares. And some trails vanish, but they always find new names to take their place.